Alright guys, it's been a while since I made a video of this. It's been a pretty long ride, and not on this thing. I'm just gonna do a rundown of what I've done lately. It'll sound like it's not very much, but it's actually taken me weeks to get this far, or months actually. I got the opposed twin on there. I'll open the hood in a second. It's kind of a pain because I got a custom hood on there, and I guess it changed the crankshaft position. So if you refer to one of my older videos, the way I had the belt, the drive belt actually working, was a straight 5/8 inch all thread going through the frame with this on it. Worked fine for that motor, but I guess something was different about this engine, and so it loosened up the belt. And when I started I actually started working with the thing about 2 weeks ago now, I'd say. I got a pretty big yard here. It looks flat on camera, but it actually goes uphill. And then over on my side yard, it's like a really steep hill. Well, the belt was slipping real bad and couldn't go anywhere hardly, especially while mowing. So the solution that I again came up with I think was actually my best idea in the first place. This was my original idea, but I, got lazy, as a lot of us do. And here's what I got. It's still the 85 or whatever inch belt, but now I got a tensioner that I actually built. That shaft, it's so eaten up because of the pulley on the motor deck was hitting it. But, sorry I'm breathing, it's so heavy, this is an awkward position. But that shaft is actually where that pulley used to be on. So, I just drilled a 5/8 hole in this piece of flat bar. It's like 1.5 by 1/4. Drilled a hole right there. Drill a hole in the frame, just a little one, doesn't take much. I could, if I remember, I'll post a link on YouTube to Home Depot where I got those. And then the important part is this 2-inch, I think it's like a 2.5 inch idler pulley. It's a flat pulley just like the other one, but I kind of worry about it because it's got a small bearing and it may go out pretty quick, but we'll just have to see. And I can always move that spring or something, to put a bigger pulley on there, the old one maybe. And as you can see, I guess it's hard to judge on camera, but the spring, it pivots in the middle. The spring pulls this side of it over to that side of the frame, and it basically moves this through the pivot that other direction, pushing the belt tighter. And you won't be able to tell, but belt's not like super tight, it's fine. And that's actually just the paint coming off the pulley already, because I've been driving it around, and it pulls way better than it used to. I guess that with that old setup, just the constant tension, it would slip a little bit, but I just couldn't tell, and I wasn't actually using it yet. But I guess once I was using the blades, maybe that was part of it. Still got the old guide on that pulley, but I think that this is a pretty solid setup, and I've been meaning to make a better drawing with dimensions on where to put all the stuff. This is if you run into a situation like mine where you get one of these old LXs and all the pulleys are jacked up, and the belt shot, and the spring maybe stretched out, or in my case there was a pivot plate that went back like right about kind of like next, actually where that bolt hole is, I think. No, like right back, it's hard to see from here. But that was all bent up, the pulleys were shot. I ended up replacing those and the belt twice, and they just kept destroying themselves because I guess the bolts were bent up and the brackets were all screwed up. So after lots of headaches and hours at the bench trying to figure out what to do, this is what I think. I think this is going to be my final solution. And you may think that that's just tightened on, but actually it's got a little bit of space. I put some grease in there, and then I tighten these nuts together really good, and it moves freely. Of course, the spring is barely stretched out, so apparently that's how it should be. I think this will work pretty good. If I find that it slips, I could, you know, drill another hole and move that spring a little farther, and it'll pull on it a little harder, I think. I think this is working good. There's one of the other guides. I had to, let's see if I can find it. Oh yeah, I had to take a piece of wire and just tie it up there because that part just falls down. One thing I figured out too, I'm gonna try to get it on a camera. Yeah, right there, that guide that snapped off. The belt, I actually bent that, but the belt was actually on that. I don't know how long it was like that, but the belt was rubbing on it really hard, and I touched it just so I could wiggle it and see if I could free it up, and it is so hot. Like I couldn't even touch it. I mean, it was burning hot. And so I took a pair of channel locks, and I just tried to bend it out of the way, and it snapped right off. That means it got really hot, and this is that crappy galvanized steel, you know, that you see on a lot of the stuff now. Like, see, this is kind of that gold color. You know, it's just junk when it's made like that. But I think this was a pretty interesting endeavor. Hopefully it'll last. You know, I gotta get a season at least out of this mower. I would take it up and down the side yard again, but it's pretty muddy. I already rutted it up a little bit, so I don't want to do that. I'll make some videos soon though, or at least I'll try. You know, it's almost mowing season, so I needed to get this done. I'm glad it's finally done, or at least I think it is. Now all I gotta do on this thing is just gotta put a new spindle on the deck and grease them up, and I think it's ready to go. There's the deck. I was mowing some leaves last week, and it's pretty dirty. But that's like I think a $40 spindle I got on Amazon. I don't even know. This one's shot though. It grinds really bad. I'm sure I could grease it and get a little bit more life out of it, but it makes so much noise. I'm hoping that one's not making noise too. I just can't tell yet. I'll find out when I replace this, and wish I'd packed that one with grease. Yeah, I never greased that spindle when I bought it. I'll live and learn eventually. You can see my choke cable through there. Oh yeah, okay. So I forgot. Here's what it ended up looking like. Excuse the white fiberglass dust. It's literally everywhere, because I always do this with a respirator and goggles or something, but I ground those down with a sander. It took forever. There's white dust everywhere. This air cleaner is made out of an access panel. Don't do that, just buy a real one. It's literally not worth it. This cost me like 20 bucks, but you know, the screws don't work. I farted. This right here is my homemade throttle linkage. It kind of works. It doesn't really hold the RPMs high enough or low enough. It looks like, let's see, it's set at the lowest throttle. Now I don't remember, this zip tie loosened up somehow. I'll have to mess with that in a minute. I had to replace the coil, which really sucks because that was like $50. It didn't even come with spark plug boots, so that's BS. I bought a Briggs & Stratton OEM. You know, it just made sense to spend like $10 more. Choke cable got from Farm and Home Supply, I think. You know, basically Rural King or whatever you guys got. That's where you're gonna find that stuff. This is just a piece of welding rod. But if you're wondering about this hood fitment, it fits. If you kind of spread this out, and you gotta take the hood brace out, obviously, it'll fit. Got the fuel filter. Don't ever do this. I just haven't got a better place for the fuel line yet. These white wires right here for the headlights. The hood doesn't have lights, so I'll figure something out there. I don't even have the bracket for the dipstick yet. I'm supposed to be, supposed to be getting a parts motor pretty soon, and I'll have like that, little shields that go over here. Seems to run pretty cool though, or at least no worse than the other one, the Kawasaki. It seems like it runs okay, and not too hot with the hood on it, because the hood, you know, it hugs this area right here, But I guess as long as the air can come out, you know, below it, it'll be fine. And it has plenty of air space underneath. The hood is like, comes down like right here, I'd say. I got my solenoid mounted right here. Nice and solid there. Electrical stuff, you always want to be solid. Like, you don't want to chintz on this stuff. I know mine's not a great example, but, you know, at least the wires stay. And I haven't really had any electrical problems with this, except a couple times I forgot a ground cable that it's that little one on the other side. Here's my charging wires. I don't even know if the battery's charging, because I just charged my battery with the Duralast charger I got a while back, and it's been holding a charge, so I assume it's fine. Here's the kill wire. I already had to replace that like twice, because see right, the connector right there just kept melting, and then when I would close the hood, it would ground it out and shut the engine off, or make it run bad. Not really a whole lot else I can. There's where I mounted my choke. Not really a whole lot else I can cover. It feels like I should have a lot more than 11 minutes of content right here, but because it took 6 months to do it, or like 3 or 4, I guess. But yeah, I think this is about all I got right now. This that doesn't fit perfect, that's for sure. See, I mean, I guess it could stand to be lowered in the front, but then, you know, like this would be right, and then this would stick out. The other hood is right there, it's all busted. This is way cheaper than getting a new one. So yeah, I'd say this turned out okay. It's not quite done just because the mower deck, but I might even put a stack on it right there, 1.5 inches. I'm gonna put my winch on there eventually. Got a little winch somewhere. Somehow I don't know where I put it. But I bought a 2,500 pound winch for it. I'm gonna put that on there. By the way, it's strictly a lawnmower and work mower or work tractor. It's not gonna be a mud mower or anything. But I think that about covers it. Guess you guys probably want to hear it run.